First, the Chinese government are continuing their aggressive posturing. Not content with militarising the South China Sea and placing covert Communist Party agents in businesses across the world, they're also engaged on many other fronts. We know that they've effectively declared economic war on Australia through their trade sanctions. They did the same to Canada previously, until the weak and woke Trudeau government capitulated and eventually bowed down to the Chinese dragon. We've also seen their debt trap diplomacy. That's where they lend money to third world nations for infrastructure projects. Now, these tiny countries can never really hope to repay the debt, so the Chinese reclaim the asset for their own government use. Now, that helps to explain why ports on tiny islands are being built large enough to accommodate giant Chinese Navy warships. It's going on throughout our region, but a recent development is closer to home than many people realise. The Chinese government have announced plans to build a $200 million fishery complex in an area of Papua New Guinea that has no commercial fishing grounds. Well, a fool and their money might be easily parted, you could be thinking, but the Chinese government are certainly not fools. The site of the complex is just 200 kilometres from the Australian mainland. Now, if China are true to form, they'll first build a wharf, just big enough for naval vessels. It'll certainly be much bigger than that required to service the dozen or so villages who sustain themselves by fishing these non-commercial waters. And then, of course, the Chinese fishing fleet will arrive. But fishing boats have always been used by many nations to mask their surveillance activities. And a Chinese spy fleet active in the waters of the Torres Strait should concern us all. Let's remember that Australia is a major funder of Papua New Guinea. We toss in around $600 million every single year to a country renowned for corruption and misuse of public funds. Now, previously, we've turned somewhat of a blind eye to the rorting of our money in PNG because it has been key, or the location is pivotal to our national security. However, we can't afford to ignore the decision of the PNG government to take both our money and allow a declared enemy to establish a not-so-covert potential military base on our doorstep.